Yes, I, Dr. Manju Rawat, welcome you all on behalf of Alumni Association of JNU and School of Environmental Science Alumni Association. This today's webinar on very important issue that is, and it is a series of self-reliant India. It's a ninth in number, and we have covered very important issues of two topics, that is weather and climate services, waste and energy, a way forward. We have a minute panelists from India with us to enrich our knowledge and experience on these two issues. So without taking much time, I welcome you all and ask Dr. Chandra Kumar Singh to continue. He is in this particular webinar. Thank you to everyone.
Well, thanks a lot,
Please,
Manju
Chandra.
ma'am, and I'm happy that we have been able to initiate this thing on, say, considering the alumni of School of Environmental Sciences, JNU. So probably this is something we have started with support of our senior colleagues as well. So, well, just to start with, I would welcome you all on behalf of Alumni Association of JNU and Alumni Association of School of Environmental Sciences, JNU. This is kind of first in the league the talk about where the involvement of SCS is there. So the plan is to continue this series of webinars or lectures for a longer duration, wherein we have a kind of good network of colleagues, professionals, as well as students. So the only idea is so that everyone gets benefited out of these kind of activities that are supposed to be conducted or are in offing. So I'll not take much time because we have already running late. So I'll ask Dr. Dheeraj to please take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandraji. Namaskar to you all, and a very warm welcome, and my heartfelt gratitude to all friends, eminent guests, and respected people associated with this national webinar. Our JNU, as you all are aware, is the official alumni association of JNU and will always remain proud to be representing our JNU's 80,000 plus alumni network spread across the globe and contributing to the society in their own ways for the overall betterment in all fields, be it environment, safety, disaster management, health, social outreach, and many more. Today, we all have gathered as Alumni Association of JNU, along with School of Environmental Sciences, Special Center for Disaster Management Research, IDC Foundation, and GRC India has organized this webinar on two very important subjects, which are weather and climate services for self-reliant India, and second part is waste to wealth, way forward for self-reliant India. My humble thanks to other important speakers and members present today. Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra ji, Director General of Meteorology, Indian Meteorological Department, Government of India, Dr. Pramod Kumar ji, Registrar JNU, Professor Umesh Kulshrestha ji, Dean, School of Environmental Science JNU, Dr. Anand Sharma ji, Additional Director General IMD, he is our alumnus also, Professor Manoj Datta ji, Solid Waste Management Expert from IIT Delhi, Professor Rana Pratap Singh is the Dean, Baba Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Lucknow, and Chairman of State Environment Impact Assessment Authority, Government of UP. Ms. Survi Tomar ji, National Prachar Pramukh, Paryavaran Sanrakshan Gatividhi. Mr. Imtiaz Ali ji, he is the renowned Waste to Wealth implementer. Apart from the above eminent personalities, we have the following members as well amongst us for taking this webinar forward. Professor E.L. Ramanathan ji, he is in School of Environmental Sciences, JNU. Dr. Manju Rawat Ranjan ji, she is our moderator for this program. Dr. Deep Narayan Pandey ji from Special Center for Disaster Research, JNU, and the core team of AJ. I, Dr. Dheeraj Singh, representing AJ as General Secretary, would like to tell you that our JNU has not only made their alma mater proud with their accomplishments, but also have been influential and have done immense contributions in all spheres of life, be it research and development, science and technology, administration, industries, humanities, policy, political leadership, philanthropy, and many more over the last 5 decades. School of Environmental Sciences, JNU, was established in the year 1974, and indeed SES was the first to start MSc MPhil program in environmental sciences in our country. SES since its inception until date has been associated with various intellectuals, researchers, environmentalists, etc. And we believe that this school has got enough of potential. Special Center for Disaster Research, the academic environment at JNU is already multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary at every center, but Special Center for Disaster Research is transdisciplinary in nature. Transdisciplinarity suggests that the nature of research would not be confined to strict parent disciplines of social sciences or natural sciences, but transcend their boundaries and limitations to absorb both the scientific findings which provoke decision making and social sciences sensitivities to decipher and direct these findings to communities and institutions of decision making. IDC Foundation is an autonomous national level non-profit organization which focuses on community development initiatives to fulfill manifold objectives in the areas of rural development, management services, IT, and environment-related issues, including R&D. Also, as the managing director of GRC India, an environmental consultancy organization, our ultimate objective has always been making the environment sustainable and promote way forward for sustainable development under the self-reliant individual movement by our Honorable Prime Minister of India. We hope that today's webinar would again be a learning experience for all associated guests and members. Both the topics have enough potential and scope that people can relate to them in real life and work accordingly to achieve the onerous goal. I can only say that all the organizations associated today has huge capacity and zeal, and they can come up with new effective ideas, solution, and way forward on both the topics of concern today. Now the time is running out, and it is the time to implement, and all our scientists and researchers have to be on their toes, keeping in mind both the above topics. Our aim should be to bring it from lab to land as per the clarion call of our Honorable Prime Minister. The crucial time has now come to show our concerted efforts, and we can take all the initiatives and work proactively with an action plan to achieve the desired outcome. To conclude, I can say that in the today times, being self-reliant is the need of the hour, and also rightly quoted by Swami Vivekananda ji that all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. Believe in yourself, stand up and express the divinity within you. Thank you, everyone. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Dr. Manjura.
Hello.
I am handing over to Dr. Manjura ji.
Now, I request Dr. Vinod Kumar Singh ji from Arch to address us. Hello.
Welcome. I'm Vinod Kumar Singh, Vice President, Alumni Association of JNU. My predecessor, Dheeraj ji, has given a very wide coverage of the activities of ours and JNU and activities of different organizations. Our subject, the topic of webinar is very, very relevant, and weather and climate services, self-reliant India, and then waste to wealth, way forward. These are very relevant topic, and they are very, very useful to extend our knowledge. We need to expand our knowledge in this. And since my predecessor Dheeraj in a wide description, a vivid account of all the activities, so I would just like to welcome all, give my thanks, and request the convener of the webinar to go ahead and with the activities, and I will be liking to be a listener. And with this, I finish my speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I'll invite our registrar, Dr. Pramod ji, for the inauguration. And also quite famous in JNU for his. Thank you, sir. Please, sir.
नमस्कार। आज के इस
नमस्कार।
वेबिनार में उपस्थित माननीय मृत्युंजय महापात्रा जी, हमारे कोर्ट के मेंबर आदरणीय इम्तियाज अली जी, हमारे एसीएस के पुराने साथी और एसीएस के डीन और रामा, और मैं साथ में यहाँ पर एसके त्यागी को भी देख रहा हूँ। एसके त्यागी के साथ हमें काम करने का मौका मिला है। हम उनके साथ सेंट्रल पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड में हमने कुछ समय तक काम किया है। और इस वेबिनार में जुड़े हुए सारे वैज्ञानिक एवं छात्रगण, आज के दोनों ही टॉपिक, वेदर एंड क्लाइमेट सर्विसेज और वेस्ट टू वेल्थ, दोनों ही काफी सामयिक विषय हैं। इन्वायरमेंटलिस्ट होने के नाते या इन्वायरमेंट साइंटिस्ट होने के नाते कहने में बड़ा डर लगता है कि वेस्ट क्या है। एज एन इन्वायरमेंटलिस्ट वी कैन नॉट से दिस इज द वेस्ट, क्योंकि हम इकोलॉजी पढ़ते हैं और हम जानते हैं कि हर चीज एक दूसरे पर डिपेंडेंट है, वो सब एक दूसरे के साइकिल में आते हैं। हमारे लिए वेस्ट तो कुछ नहीं। वेस्ट हमारे लिए एक रॉ मटेरियल है। अब उस रॉ मटेरियल को हम किस प्रोडक्ट में कन्वर्ट करते हैं, ये हमारी जिम्मेवारी है। तो ये काफी बढ़िया टॉपिक है। इम्तियाज अली जी ने इसमें बहुत बढ़िया काम किया है। और वेस्ट का क्या बेस्ट यूज हो सकता है, जिसको हम सो कॉल्ड वेस्ट, अगेन आई एम सेइंग सो कॉल्ड वेस्ट का बेस्ट क्या यूज हो सकता है, इसके ऊपर हम लोग चर्चा करेंगे और इम्तियाज अली जी के एक्सपीरियंस को भी जानेंगे। क्लाइमेट हम सब जानते हैं कि हर किसी भी जगह का जो क्लाइमेट है, वहाँ का लिथोस्फीयर, हाइड्रोस्फीयर, एटमॉस्फेयर का इनकमिंग सोलर रेडिएशन के साथ क्या इंटरेक्शन है, उसके बेसिस पर हम एक जगह के क्लाइमेट को डिसाइड करते हैं। लेकिन हमारे कुछ एंथ्रोपोजेन तो पिछले कई सदियों से इनके बीच में एक समानता है। लेकिन हमारे कुछ एंथ्रोपोजेनिक एक्टिविटीज ने हमारे जो एटमॉस्फेयर में जो अवयव हैं, हमारे एटमॉस्फेयर के जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट हैं, उनका जो कंपोजिशन था उसको कहीं ना कहीं चेंज कर दिया है। कंपोजिशन के चेंज होने से उनका जो इंसोलेशन के साथ, इनकमिंग सोलर रेडिएशन के साथ जो उनका इंटरेक्शन था, वो इंटरेक्शन बदल गया है। उसके बदलने से हमारे क्लाइमेटिक चेंज हुए हैं। और क्लाइमेटिक चेंज होने से क्या क्या खतरा होंगे और क्या क्या खतरा हो रही है, इसको हम सब महसूस करते हैं। तो इसमें हमारा जो क्लाइमेट एंड वेदर सर्विसेज है, इसका रोल बहुत बढ़ गया है। एक दो उदाहरण दूंगा। हमारे यहाँ जो रेन का पैटर्न है, आप लोग देखेंगे जो पिछले हमारे यहाँ रेन के पैटर्न को नक्षत्र के हिसाब से बताया गया है, किस नक्षत्र में कैसी बारिश होगी। और नक्षत्रों में बारिश का जो मूल्यांकन हुआ है, वो सदियों, हजारों वर्षों के अनुभव के बाद वो बताया गया है कि किस समय किस पैटर्न की बारिश होगी। एक उदाहरण ले तो अभी जो नक्षत्र चल रहा है, इसको हथिया नक्षत्र बोलते हैं। इसमें जो बारिश होती है, बड़ी धीरे धीरे बारिश होती है। तो जब बारिश का पैटर्न बहुत धीरे धीरे होता है, तो हमारे बारिश के पानी को इतना मौका मिलता है कि वो धीरे धीरे पर्कुलेट कर जाते हैं। हमारा जो ग्राउंड लेवल का जो टेबल है, वो मेंटेन रहता है। आपने देखा होगा किसान क्या करते थे, जब बारिश धीरे धीरे होती है तो बारिश को, पानी को कंजर्व करने के लिए वो कुछ नहीं करते, केवल अपने खेत के मेड़ों को ऊंचा कर देते हैं। क्योंकि बारिश धीरे धीरे होती है तो सारा का सारा पानी वहां स्टोर हो जाता है और हमारा ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल जो है वो मेंटेन रहता है। मगर अभी आपने देखा होगा 2-3 दिन पहले जो बारिश का पैटर्न कभी हैदराबाद से कभी मुंबई से दिखाया जा रहा है, तो बारिश का पैटर्न बदल गया है। बारिश पूरा एनुअल एवरेज देखेंगे तो बारिश करीब करीब उतना ही है, लेकिन सारा का सारा बारिश एक ही बार में काफी तेजी से हो जाता है। इसलिए उस बारिश के पानी को स्टॉक करने का हमारे पास कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं है। लेकिन हमारे जो किसान हैं, जब आप देखते हैं अभी कृषि बिल भी आया है और गवर्नमेंट की का दबाव है, गवर्नमेंट की इच्छा है कि हम कृषि के क्षेत्र से ज़्यादा धन का उपार्जन करें, क्योंकि यदि गवर्नमेंट आने वाले समय में 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी की बात करती है तो कहीं ना कहीं उसको कृषि से बहुत ज़्यादा उम्मीद है। और हमारी कृषि जो है पूरे तरीके से हमारे क्लाइमेट पर डिपेंड करती है, वो हमारे रेन पैटर्न पर डिपेंड करती है। तो यदि हम आत्मनिर्भर बनना चाहते हैं, और आत्मनिर्भरता में कृषि का बहुत बड़ा योगदान है, और कृषि जो है वो पूरे के पूरे क्लाइमेट पर डिपेंड करती है, तो इसमें हमारे जो क्लाइमेटिक एंड एटमॉस्फेरिक सर्विसेज है, सॉरी वेदर एंड क्लाइमेटिक सर्विसेज है, इनका रोल बनता है। आज के रेन के पैटर्न को देख करके हम किस ढंग की खेती करें? क्या जो हम पहले खेती करते थे, जो पहले खेती का पैटर्न था, क्या आज भी वही होना चाहिए या इसमें कोई परिवर्तन होना चाहिए? इसकी जानकारी हम वेदर एंड क्लाइमेटिक सर्विसेज से ले सकते हैं। दूसरी बात, आप देखेंगे कि पहले जो साइक्लोन वगैरह से डैमेज होते थे वो बहुत ज़्यादा होता था, उसमें फिजिकल वेल्थ के साथ साथ लाइफ का भी बहुत डैमेज होता था। लेकिन अब हमारे वेदर एंड क्लाइमेटिक सर्विसेज ने काफ़ी अच्छा इंप्रूव किया है, और जो भी हमारे पास यदि साइक्लोन, इनका इंटीमेशन हमें इनके माध्यम से 2-3 दिन पहले मिलता है, सप्ताह भर पहले मिल जाता है। उस केस में हम पूरे तरीके से प्रिपेयर्ड हो जाते हैं। इसलिए हमारा जो डैमेज आज का है जान माल का, वो उतना नहीं है जितना पहले होता था। तो जब इन सारी चीज़ों को आप ध्यान में लगाए रखेंगे तो आपको लगेगा कि हमारा जो वेदर एंड क्लाइमेट सर्विस है, इसकी वैल्यू आज के डेट में इस काफ़ी बड़ी है, और इनके ऊपर बहुत ज़बरदस्त रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। यदि ये सर्विसेज सही समय पर सही जगह पहुंचाई गई, तो हम जो ड्रीम करते हैं आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनने का, उसमें हम कामयाब हो सकते हैं। ये आज हम जो भी जितने भी लोग आए हैं, और हमें तो बिल्कुल आज वही मैं देख रहा हूँ यहाँ पर माननीय मृत्युंजय महापात्रा जी है, हमारे एसीएस के ही एलुमनाई आज एडिशनल डायरेक्टर जनरल हैं वहाँ पर आईएमडी में। ये वो लोग हैं जो इस फील्ड में काम कर रहे हैं। हमारे पास इन्वायरमेंटल साइंटिस्ट हैं, रिसर्चर हैं, हमारे पास इम्तियाज अली की जैसे सोशल एक्टिविस्ट है। तो आज के इस वेबिनार में रूल बनाने वाले, उसको समझने वाले, समझाने वाले, और उसको फील्ड में ले जाकर के काम करने वाले, ऐसे सारे लोग एकत्रित हुए। इस वेबिनार के माध्यम से हम बहुत कुछ अचीव कर सकते हैं। मैं आज को और अपने एसीएस के पुराने मित्रों को और एसीएस में अभी काम कर रहे सारे लोगों को इस बात के लिए धन्यवाद देता हूं कि उन्होंने बिल्कुल सामयिक विषय चुना है, और इन्वायरमेंटल साइंस, हमारा जो स्कूल ऑफ इन्वायरमेंटल साइंसेज है, इसने बहुत सारे इन्वायरमेंटल साइंटिस्ट दिए हैं। इसने ऐसे एलुमनाई दिए हैं जो समाज के अन्य अन्य क्षेत्रों में, प्रशासनिक क्षेत्र में, हर क्षेत्र में काम कर रहे हैं। लेकिन हमारे पास इन्वायरमेंटल एक्टिविस्ट जितना देना चाहिए था स्कूल ऑफ इन्वायरमेंटल साइंसेज को, उतना नहीं मिला है। मुझे लगता है इस तरीके का हम कार्यक्रम करेंगे, इस कार्यक्रम से हमें अपने कर्तव्य का बोध का ज्ञान होगा, और जब हमें अपने कर्तव्य बोध पता लगेगा, हमें ये पता लगेगा कि हमें किन किन चीज़ों को समाज के किस वर्ग के पास कब पहुंचाना है। यदि इसकी जानकारी मिलती है तो हम निश्चित रूप से जो आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाएंगे, ऐसा हमने सोचा है, ठाना है, और निश्चित रूप से हमें इसे हम प्राप्त भी करेंगे। उसमें इस तरीके की वेबिनार्स का ये बहुत ज़बरदस्त योगदान होगा। मैं इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ एक बार फिर जवाहरलाल नेहरू विश्वविद्यालय की तरफ से मैं आज के वेबिनार में आए सारे साइंटिस्टगण का, आज के वक्ताओं का जो अपने विचार को रखेंगे, उनका स्वागत करता हूं और आज को एक बार फिर से धन्यवाद देता हूं और इस उम्मीद के साथ कि आगे भी आज जो चर्चा होगी उस चर्चा को उसके मुकाम तक पहुंचाने में हम लोग लगे रहेंगे। इन्हीं चंद शब्दों के साथ अपनी बात को खत्म करता हूं। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
They were very good, and I think we will implement them. We have all the politicians and the basically policy makers here, and we can give those suggestions further to the MO and other, so that we can have a very good coordination, and we will work in the field. At the same time, we will draw the policy also for our future. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So now we can start the first session. The first session is on the weather and climate change for the self-reliant India. So we have the first address with the Dean of Environmental Sciences, Professor Umesh Kulcheshta. His research interest is also climate change. He has worked on the atmospheric dust and air pollution. He has 26 years of experience and he has published large number of papers with respect to climate change. So I welcome you to address from us, from SES.
So you have to unmute.
Oh,
Yes, now it's.
and can I share my slide? You have to enable me to share.
Now you are the presenter. Now you are the presenter.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Are you able to see now? Are you able to see?
Sir, it's visible now.
Okay. So good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy, and this is my basically. I'm fortunate enough to share this basically event opportunity with Aj when Dr. Dheeraj he asked me. I was very enthusiastically accepted. I was very happy that this kind of event is thought and will be celebrated with SES. I really agreed. So, in fact, in SES, after joining in January, I am also doing very similar type of the activities and efforts for the welfare of students. And one of them, I will come to that. But before that, let me formally thank the organizer, Dr. Dheeraj, especially, who brought me to this forum, introduced to this forum. And also, I appreciate the efforts and beginning in collaboration with the SES. In fact, I already assigned the job to do this alumni work and contact people, make list to somebody. But nevertheless, this is another beginning, and probably this will be successful effort from our side. So now what I will do, I will briefly introduce our activities, and then because it's a meteorology and climate, two things I will share with you. The time is very less, but I will share in short. In school of environmental sciences, we have not big number, but at least we have very vibrant students, very talented students we have in our school. So I thought of, nowadays what is happening, there are lacunas in the system, especially in terms of sincerity, honesty, discipline, and all these values were to be used to say that I thought of making this education for a purpose, because in between the education policy also was not having the aim of these activities and all these curricular activities, and also the value addition in the education system. The new education policy has brought again the same thing. So what I did, holistic environment, because in component wise we are doing research, as Pramodji rightly said that the nakshatra and all this, it was very wonderful thought what he shared. And what was that 15 days back, same thing I was saying, that according to Indian calendar, rain is still, every weather, rain including, is responding. But as you go with the English calendar, it doesn't match. So that is based on, because experience based thing. So it is not changing still. I will share some thought about that also. Uh, what I did under holistic environment program, that program basically we have thought of in providing integrated solution for environment. I will share one example with that. Under that program, it is an outreach program. We have developed, one program for young holistic group, that is YOHO. YOHO is taken from young holistic, YO from young, and HO from holistic. So young holistic program, this program basically is to enhance personality in a holistic manner. For example, physical, psychological, spiritual, all this educational, that development of a student, and then leadership quality development, then management skill development, coordination, intra and inter group development. So it is going on and very well responded by the students also. Those who are very creative, they are really taking interest and arranging the basically these events such as academic network, quiz, debate, kavita pratyogita. All these activities are going on. If possible, I will show you those site also. SES activity site is there. It is given on that site. Then I have introduced after this becoming that young holistic award for final year PhD student. Those who are doing very already environment is interdisciplinary science, but it's still the topic. If it is solving something in a holistic manner, giving integrated solution, that fellow will be given holistic award. And then we have passed this postdoctoral fellowship initiative with the help of private sector. We will introduce some postdoctoral fellowships, and because nowadays it's a job and providing opportunity even for talented people is becoming very difficult. So I thought of the postdoctoral fellowship is introduced, and we will work out the logistic of that. Then this SES logo is formally accepted and passed. This logo already there on this page. You can see it's a tree type. Then I have made this list, toppers roll list. Those who are top MSc toppers, they will be put on roll. That brown color, that wooden roll list. Then photo gallery for all deans. We have thought of, we are working on that. We are collecting photographs of different deans already. The frames and all the things are I have ordered. Then there are long list, small to bigger equipment we have added, added to SES CIF. And then one launch for students we have planned already. That order is under process, where Kali period you can sit there other than our visitor room. So this kind of facilities I have thought of, and you can visit whenever you can see. And nowadays it's a pandemic, but due to pandemic it's not possible. But when you come and you can see some of these things, you can see on the website without any problem. And right side is the activities, okay, what we have thought of this YOHO, who is academic teacher, research in the green, weapons, debate, GL, PCIF, editor, yoga, euphoria, phytoaesthetics, enviro excursions, all these things are there, and I think they are becoming very vigorous. Now I would like to share two academic things based on the theme of this webinar. One is I have given a hypothesis this thing that in Indo-Gangetic Plain, especially in NCR, we are suffering air pollution, big problem, and then so I have written this article that camel ride push of winds and topography favor the flushing out of air pollution from NCR, Delhi, and in Nagoya Plain. Because we are getting during winter time westerlies, and westerlies they are having low temperature, high moisture, and that comes to Indo-Gangetic Plain, and that the westerly stream, one stream coming from Mediterranean Europe goes to left side China, but right side comes to us, and that hits Himalaya and enter into plain. High speed wind 200 kilometers they enter. When they enter into plane, they become almost just like 20 kilometers, like the very less wind. So it is bit with calm wind. But again, another throw comes and that pushes that one, and further another throw. So it's a kind of camel ride push. वो ऊंट पे जैसे बैठते हैं तो एक ढीला सा चला जाता है, then again वो. तो इसकी वजह से because of this, the pollution in Delhi region, Indo-Gangetic will not stay more than 8 to 10 days, and that I wrote this. After that, immediately we have seen, even based on experience, this is given basically, and scientifically also it's true. More the article you can read in detail. It's given here. It's in current environment, current world environment. It is published. So it's we need not to worry. Even the crop residue burning, we should do. I am part of VPCA. We are putting all efforts to control fire in Haryana, Punjab. But nevertheless, we should not worry. We have got, natural blessings from that angle, that in this area more it won't stagnate, and due to this camel ride push. Second thing I have, because we are many times we are saying Delhi pollution, high particulate matter, PM 2.5 and 10. That is because of mostly from natural sources. Because open source, we have a lot of soil dust, soil erosion, then high wind, tropical region. So all these features make a very dusty atmosphere. So dusty atmosphere, you can control, if source is like tailpipe, you can control tailpipe. If source is chimney, you can control chimney, but source is open source. So the control also requires very similar to open source. That is rain. Rain source is only the water bodies, whether it is ocean or lake. So in Delhi, if we have big lake, 5 kilometer, 7 kilometer, like Himal Sagar, Usman Sagar, we have in Hyderabad area, that kind of lakes, then afternoon, a lot of water will be there, water evaporation, and slowly over a period of time, we can have occasional rains. Occasional rains, when they are, then the atmosphere will be clean, because scavenging of particulate matter in the course of particle is very effectively done by rain, that we have reported. So science, chemistry science to meteorology, chemical meteorology based solution. This is called holistic approach. It's thinking, working element, component wise, but your solution should be holistic. So from that angle, this solution has been suggested. I think the lake solution, Delhi government has started also this. This was long pending, this kind of holistic efforts by government, and I'm that at least these things are taken care by modern government. There I would like to share this Where is this meeting? I don't know where this screen disappear. Yes, it is there. Where is my screen gone? Okay, doesn't matter. I would like to request all of you to see SES activity page. A lot of activities we have done, webinars, and I have invited alumni, SES, old teachers, deans, students, those who are working. So all with that, I once again welcome all the speakers from AJ and non-AJ also, and the students of SES. And I thank once again the organizers who have invited me to share. And I think next time we can have some other event we can plan with SES. I request Dheeraj to think about that. Then further, I'm happy and I would like to offer any kind of help or any kind of publicity, any kind of platform from school side you require. I'm there to help, and I would like you to help in for us to upgrade in your field, to help any kind of student uh, welfare related things, and also help us to develop SES, to provide long-term programs to SES. I would be very happy to offer, and let us have joint
Thank
efforts of yours will help uh, SES in global visibility and also solving societal problem in a holistic manner. With these words, thank you very much. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for introducing the holistic environment, integrated environment in SES JNU. Being an alumni of SES JNU, I was very happy to see all this thing. Thank you very much. Your greater efforts by creating an avenues for doctorate and PG students, and you introduced this academic network Go. That's a very new concept, which I feel as an alumni 10, 15 years back. So you are enhancing the personality of a student, leadership, quality development, coordination among different in the SES, and inter and intra group communication. Naturally, all these things are going to help, sir, to the students in a holistic way. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So, thank you, sir. So, I invite now go further with Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra. And after this will be a presentation by Professor Manoj Datta, because he has to go for Udala ritual. So, please bear with us. So, we have to go ahead with second will be a Professor Manoj Datta after Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra. So I invite you, sir, I invite you, Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra ji, I invite you, and you are the Director General, Indian Meteorological Department, Government of India. Sir has an interest area on weather forecasting, cyclone warning, and he has published large number of papers. He has awarded with the many prestigious award. With this, not taking much time, we want to hear from you about the forecast and the how we are managing. We have managed very well Hudhud. We have managed very well Imphal. So that is all I want to hear from you. We all are waiting for your talk. Please, sir, I welcome you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Namaskar to all distinguished delegates and participants, ladies and gentlemen, dear Pramod ji, Manju ji, Dheeraj ji. I, at the outset, thank all of you for giving an opportunity to speak on this occasion. And I was told by Dr. Dheeraj to speak about weather and climate services for this Atmanirbhar Bharat. So I will try to present something about the role and responsibilities of India Meteorological Department, Ministry of Earth Sciences. in this direction? What is the current status and what is the future program? I don't know how much time I will have. Initially, I was thinking that I will have, as for the program, 45 minutes, but you can just tell me in how much time I should conclude.
So you take your time. I mean, half an hour. Yeah.
Okay.
Take your time, sir.
Okay. Okay. So if you just look at the declaration by Honorable Prime Minister about Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India, it has got 5 prominent pillars. The first and foremost pillar of Atmanirbhar Bharat is the economy. So we should have an improvement in economic condition of the people or of the country, not in an incremental change, but also as a quantum jump in a certain period. The next pillar is the infrastructure. India should come up with such an infrastructure which is at par with all the leading countries in the world or better than that. At the same time, it should be more or more dependent on ourselves. The system, we should have a system that does not follow the norms of previous century, but also the requirements of 21st century. And when I say that system, it certainly deals with the technology. The technology drives the system, as some of you were telling during your discussion or presentation, that there has been a significant improvement in weather and climate services in recent times. It has been possible because of this system. The early warning system has been technology driven in recent years through the investment by the government of India. And of course, there should be overall development in a democratic society like India. Democracy is our strength. Democracy is our energy to visualize our dream, to make us self-reliant. At the same time, when we consider the progress, the expected progress, we have to take into consideration the demand. The demand supply chain is the power, and we should use it to its full potential, considering the huge population of the country, considering the developing nature of the country, considering the expectations of the growing populations. Therefore, I will say there is a huge demand, and accordingly, there should be a supply. There should be a balance between demand and supply. So I will discuss the weather and climate services provided by Minister of Earth Sciences in India Meteorological Department, considering these 5 pillars. So if you just look at the weather and climate services for self-reliant India through India Meteorological Department, it is the nodal agency in the country to provide the information about the weather and climate, and also to provide the forecast and warning services. Its vision aims at providing observations and forecast for optimum operation of weather sensitive activities. I will tell you, in this current era, there is no such activity which is not dependent on weather or climate. However, we were not able to utilize the information weather and climate due to many reasons, including the fact that earlier this information was not very accurate, not timely, and not usable. But over the period of time, all of you will agree, the information on weather and climate in terms of the current and also in terms of the forecast has improved significantly. And hence it has enabled to enhance the economy in recent years. So we'll see in this presentation how it is helping the economy and how it can help in future. So if you just see the science of meteorology, it is nothing but the prediction of land, atmosphere, and ocean states at different scales to provide weather and climate forecast in different spatial and temporal range. We have a seamless forecast system providing the forecast for a few hours, which is called as nowcast, which is followed by the short range forecast ready for 1 to 2 days, and medium range forecast a few days to 1 week, and extended range forecast up to a month. And also we provide the seasonal forecast for monsoon season, winter season, and the summer season. At the same time, expectations is increasing for the climate scale forecast, and we are also working in that direction. Spatial range, if we just look at forecast, is provided from location specific sub-city within the city itself to the block, district, and meteorological subdivisions, river catchment states, and homogeneous regions of the country. Over the past few years, as I was telling you recently, so there has been a qualitative improvement in weather, climate, and ocean services by Ministry of Earth Sciences. It has been possible because of the augmentation of the atmospheric observations. It has been possible because of development of adequate modeling strategy. It has been possible because of conducting the cutting-edge research by the ministry and allied research bodies, including the JNU and many research centers. And also there has been a quite a good amount of investment in human resource development to carry out all the above activities. Now I'll just come to the first pillar, that is economy. When you go for saving the economy through the weather and climate services, the first and foremost theme which comes to our mind is the disaster. And all of us know a disaster not only kills people, but also causes a huge amount of loss of property. And our GDP is affected largely by these disasters. And I want to say that 80% of natural disasters are weather and climate related. Therefore, weather and climate information, as Pramodji was telling in his speech, is very crucial to fight with disasters, to not to allow the hazard convert into a disaster. So therefore, we try to provide the information such that no hazard goes undetected and unpredicted. And accurate warnings against the hazards with reasonable lead time, triggering response from disaster managers and public to save life and property. So when you go for the hazard management, it does not depend only on the real-time information about the weather and climate, but also it depends upon the past weather and climate. So that is for hazard assessment. So when you consider disaster management, it basically starts with hazard monitoring and assessment. Then we see that the vulnerability and risk of different regions are well assessed a priori, so that whenever there is a hazard approaching particular coast, as per the past vulnerability, we can have the adequate measures for management. The early warning and mitigation is the most crucial point. There was a survey in South Asia and Southeast Asia. As per survey, it was found that the early warning among the various components of hazard management is crucial in an area where we are socio-economically poor. If you consider South Asia and Southeast Asia, there are many poor countries who cannot afford to change their social and economic infrastructure overnight. So here, the early warning can be changed very easily if you can have some kind of technological investments. And that has been demonstrated by India. IMD took on the modernization program in 2009, and by 2012, we could find that the loss of lives could be minimized. There has been no cyclone during past 10 years when there has been loss of life exceeding 100. Not only in India, but also all the countries in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. So that has been the effect of early warning. We also provide technical support, as I told you, for preparedness, planning, vulnerability analysis, and risk assessment. We also provide support for management of natural resources like agriculture, water resource, energy resource, etc. So if I just look at how do we carry out our early warning system, it is basically the observational system, which is space-based, upper air, and surface-based observations. And these observation systems are very important because this weather forecasting is an initial value problem. If you can detect the initial status of the atmosphere and ocean, you can predict better. So therefore, worldwide, people try to define the initial status of ocean and atmosphere by dense observational network and frequent observations. With the help of these, we identify the weather systems. At the same time, all the weather systems information detected with the sophisticated observational network are digitized. And these digital informations are fed into numerical weather prediction models. And these numerical weather prediction models provide the forecast, and these forecasts are converted into public language that is called as public weather service. It goes in the form of bulletin, it goes in form of graphics, goes in form of text, and that is helpful for the decision makers, disaster managers, to take the actions. Now, considering the first example, like cyclone, as you can see, the entire east and west coast is prone for the cyclone activity, especially the east coast is more prone. The red zone, you can see, is the most prone districts. And this zoning was done by IMD as per the requirement of National Disaster Management Authority, and it helps in preparedness, planning, and mitigation measures of government at state level and also central level. We have got a sophisticated observational system to look into and detect it further and provide the information at least 5 days in advance about its genesis, track, intensity, and the expected impact. You will be happy to know that in case of cyclone, we provide detailed impact-based forecast and risk-based warning at the district level to all the disaster managers. So therefore, when the bulletin goes on the cyclone, it is ready-made food, just like a ready-made food. It includes all the informations, and they have to take action only. So if I just put up one example of cyclone Amphan, I think all of you have witnessed this information while we are going for real time during the 16th May to 21st May. On 20th May, cyclone Amphan crossed West Bengal coast over southern Parganas across Sundarbans. And this forecast was issued from 16th May. This track forecast was issued 5 days in advance. You can see that the dark line, that is a black line, is the actual track of the cyclone, and the red line is the forecast track. You can find that there is not much difference between the two lines. That means 5 days in ahead, we can very well predict the location and time of landfall. And also, accordingly, we could provide the heavy rainfall, winds, storm surge, tidal waves, and impact on various types of structures and various types of sectors. And accordingly, government could take all the actions and minimize the loss of lives. It is for your information that Amphan was a super cyclone over the Bay of Bengal, and it was the second super cyclone after 1999. So therefore, it is a huge cyclone. It has the potential to cause devastation. However, government could manage because of this early warning. I will say you the first information about this cyclone was provided by government of provided by India Meteorology Department on 7th May in its extended range forecast, 15 days later. But after that, on 13th May, we started giving the information about information of cyclones. So it has been possible because of the investment in technology and also many collaborative work between the state government, central government, many media and other non-government agencies, and early warning provider, India Meteorology Department, Minister of Earth Sciences. I will say it is completely Atmanirbhar. The cyclone warning in India is an ideal one to be imbibed by many countries in the world. After the last year's success story of Cyclone Fani, the countries from other part of the world also visited. Prince Charles also visited to acknowledge, and they inquired whether this information is being used by other countries in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. It is, of course, being used. So I want to say that we are completely self-reliant, and also we are helping the other countries. Among all the countries in the Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea are benefited by this development by India Meteorological Department. So you can just see that how the error is decreasing over the years and skill is improving over the years, which has enabled an increase in the confidence of disaster managers and general public. Similarly, if you just look at the heavy rainfall, which is a major reason for the floods during monsoon season, and you will find that we have the accuracy level of about 78%. So on day one, 24 hours before, we can predict the heavy rainfall with an accuracy of 78%. It is a huge gain. If I compare this forecast accuracy 5 days before, the forecast accuracy of day one forecast 5 days before, what was there, that was about 60%. And now day 5 forecast is about 60%. That means now we have been able to provide a net gain of 4 days of lead period to the disaster managers to deal with the heavy rainfall leading to the floods. The flood management is taken care by Central Water Commission. However, information is provided by us to Central Water Commission for flood forecast, but heavy rainfall forecast, plus flooding, etc., are provided by India Meteorological Department. Similarly, if you just look at when we go for cyclone, people demand for impact-based forecast. Similarly, in the heavy rainfall, people also demanded impact-based forecast. So we started providing impact-based forecast from this year, indicating what type of impact will be if there is a heavy rain. we gave the color coding, red indicating action to be taken immediately, the highest priority warning, followed by orange, yellow, and green. At the same time, we indicated what the impact of the various sectors like traffic, like low-lying areas, slums, villages, and other vulnerable regions. And these warnings, like cyclones, are also issued in different stages, like watch, heavy rainfall watch, heavy rainfall alert, heavy rainfall warning, and the updates. So you'll be you can see on the left hand side, this was, if you remember, there was a flood-like situation, intense flood situation in Dwarka. The city of Dwarka was inundated, and we could predict very well 5 days in advance with this impact-based forecast and based warning. So for the river and flooding, actually, there is a mechanism with Central Water Commission. We jointly work with each other, and at present we provide warning up to 3 days with an outlook of 4 days. All the river catchments in the country are covered through this joint mechanism of Central Water Commission and India Meteorological Department. It has helped to minimize the losses from the floods. So there is another important area. This is the flash flood guidance. So you might have heard many things like Leh cloudburst or Jammu and Kashmir cloudburst. What happens during monsoon season? There can be immediate downpour, or a few days before there's Telangana in Hyderabad. Yesterday also at night there was heavy downpour over Telangana. So these are called as the flash floods. So in a limited time there will be a huge amount of rainfall which can cause floods. For this purpose, we introduced a mechanism that is called as flash flood guidance. We are not only providing flash flood guidance for the country, but also for entire South Asia. It includes Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Under this flash flood guidance, we have identified 30,000 watersheds in the country. For 30,000 watersheds, the information is provided for next 12 hours, whether there will be flash floods or not. And this information is being provided to Central Water Commission to take necessary actions. So another important disaster which affects the country is the thunderstorm, associated squalls, lightning. There was no lightning warning in the country 2 years back. In 2019, we started introducing the lightning warning. Prior to that, of course, we have the thunderstorm warning, thunderstorm warning, but lightning causes the maximum death due to the thunderstorms. We have seen that lightning causes maximum death in the poor, vulnerable communities, especially the farmers, fishermen, those who are out in the field for their livelihood are mostly affected. So what we did actually, we developed the modeling system in-house. Again, it is Atmanirbhar Bharat, and through this, it was an integrated effort by Minister of Earth Sciences, including all the agencies like Indian Institute of Meteorology, National Center for Meteorology and Forecasting, and India Meteorological Department. We introduced the lightning warning, and it has helped the countries in the states like Northeast India to minimize the loss of lives this year. So this is an example. You can find out that this is the actual lightning. That also is another story. Earlier, there was no lightning detection as such because we did not have the lightning detectors. Now, Indian Air Force and Indian Institute of Meteorology, they've come up together to establish the lightning detection system across the country. About 166 lightning detection systems are there. With this lightning detection systems, we are able to detect not only lightning in India, but also Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and other neighboring countries. And these informations are updated every 10 minutes in our website. So this has helped minimize again the loss of lives and property. On the left-hand side, the example of the forecast. You can just imagine how along the east coast, the lightning which is observed is well predicted by the model 1 day in advance. So lightning being a small-scale event, 1 day prediction is sufficient, but that prediction should reach to the last mile. Now the problem is how to reach out the last mile. That is a major issue. If a person is working in the field, paddy field, how will you get the information about the lightning in advance? And even if he gets the information, where will he take rest? Where will he take safe conditions? So these are the challenges we have to tackle in future. So, however, what we did actually, we introduced the nowcasting. Since lightning and thunderstorms are very small event with a period of about 3 hours or half an hour, and they occur only in a village or two. So therefore, it was decided that we should go for nowcasting. That is very short range forecasting. We provide forecast for next 3 hours for thunderstorm and all associated with And you'll be happy to know that we provide this information for all the districts across the country, like 739 districts. And at present, we are providing 894 stations across the country. It includes all the district headquarters and cities and towns. And this number is gradually increasing. If you ask what is the forecast accuracy of these 3 hourly nowcast, it is about 85%. I would say the forecast is accurate, but still there is scope to improve further the 15%. So whatever you see this lightning warning or lightning detection, there is large amount of self-reliance because we are utilizing our INSAT, we are utilizing our radar system, we are utilizing our automated weather stations, and also we are utilizing our computing system and models. Similarly, there is another killer, especially in northern India, that is the heat wave. So heat wave warning also introduced after 2015 disastrous heat wave, which caused the people of thousands. We came up with the forecast of heat wave in different ranges. Like seasonal forecast, we started in 2016, then extended its forecast for next 15 days, then medium range forecast up to 5 days. And heat wave warning accuracy, if you just look at it, is in 2020, up to day 3, the forecast accuracy is about 90%, and day 2 is 95%. And therefore, this type of accuracy has helped the state authorities in terms of district and the city municipal corporations to introduce the heat action plan. The heat action plan has been introduced by NDMA collaborative way with IMD and other state government authorities, municipal corporations, and NGOs to tackle this heat wave impacts. And it is a success story that heat wave deaths over India has reduced significantly in recent years. Here, this heat wave also is given in terms of impact-based warning, the different color codes, and expected impact on health and other sectors. Now, if you just look at about the system in place and how it has improved, whether it is self-reliant or not, I just want to say that India Meteorology Department is a very old organization, and it has many sectors to cater to build up the systems for providing information. So we are always continuously enhancing and upgrading our system so that it can fulfill the 21st century dreams and it can be technology driven. So this is just an example of Doppler weather radar. You can just see that the country is now equipped with 28 Doppler weather radars in different parts of the country, but still entire country is not covered with radar. So so we are trying for that. You can just see in the right bottom that is the picture of a cyclone, and others are picture of the radars. So what we want to say that this radar earlier, if you just go, you can find that the radar was not available in the country. It was being imported earlier. Then gradually, IMD operated about 40 radars of analog technology manufactured by Bharat Electronics Limited. In 2002, Doppler radar was not available in India, so 4 radars were imported from Germany. In 2006, the indigenous manufactured Doppler radar was installed at Sriharikota. In 2015, MS Bell came up with the radar in Mumbai and Bhuj. Gradually, ISRO also came up with the radar at Kochi, Gopalpur, Cherrapunji, and Tiruvananthapuram. So I don't want to say that it is a success story of the country where IMD and other knowledge partners like ISRO and various public sectors like Bell, they have come up together to develop the radar systems. And I am sure in future we will be completely self-dependent on radar. You'll be happy to know that now we are establishing 10 expanded DWRs over Northwest Himalayas. And all these are self-reliant because it is being developed by Astra Microwave Limited, Hyderabad. ISRO is also developing some solid-state power amplifier, which is being fabricated by Data Pattern Chennai. So this is a success story of how we are progressing, even though we are not 100% dependent for radar technology, but we have progressed very well in recent years for self-reliance in radar systems. And I'll tell you, radar is one of the most important tool for detection of the severe weather in short range and also to provide the forecast on nowcast. Similarly, if you just look at the upper air observations, India is one of the countries which started upper air observations from 1960. And our upper air observations have improved, but there is scope to improve further. So there is a plan up to 2024, number of stations will increase up to 76. And for this upper air observations, if you just look at, this is the instrument for the upper air observations. We release the radio sound, that is the sensors along with the balloons. And this sensor detects the observations in the upper atmosphere. And now it is GPS based. It is far with the world. And Samir, the public sector again is developing the GPS based radio station in the country. But still, there are not many companies, and as per the requirement of IMD, there is scope therefore for public-private partnership. In this case, when we can go for mass production of this GPS-based radio shunt for the country. Similarly, if you just look at the future requirements for these indigenous sources, the software requirement for this radio shunt data can be developed indigenously. So far, the software comes from outside. The data processing of the radar also, again, it can be done within the country, and we are very much dependent sometimes till now over the different countries because of the processing and visualization of the radar data. Data dissemination also is being used through the imported software, which can be also performed indigenously, considering the IT power of the country. Now, coming to the ground, we have got surface observational network, very old, but we have come up with automated weather stations, automated weather gauges. On the right-hand side, you can just find out the pictures of various types of instrumentation IMD utilizes for observations. So all these observations, you'll find that we have got workshop in India Meteorology Department at Pune for the surface instruments, and another workshop in Delhi for upper air instruments. So in-house, we go for development and calibrations and maintenance also. And still, there are certain components or sensors, you can say, which are imported, which needs to be developed in the country. And this is the plan to improve the number of instruments across the country for various purposes in terms of automated weather stations, automated land gauges, agrometeorological AWS, automated observing systems for aviation purpose. Similarly, you need the microwave radiometer, wind profiler, heliport, automated weather observing systems, and snow gauge. So among all these, you'll find that about 60 to 70% are available in-house, that is within the country, and remaining partially they are being developed and being imported. Now, if you go for the 21st century dream for this technology for observational systems, yes, there is scope for indigenization of the wind and pressure sensors. There is scope for applying the artificial intelligence into the data collected for automated weather stations. There is scope for developing the sensors. At present, as I told you, many sensors are imported. So further automation and collection, archival and retrieval of the data can be automated. Then we can have the interfacing and configuration of meteorological sensor for various purposes. So for the first time in the country, we are going to integrate these sensors for agro-meteorological purposes, for agricultural purposes. We are going to establish 200 agro AWS within 6 months. After that, we are going to another 400. So the entire country will have one agro AWS, which is an interface between the meteorological observations and the agricultural observations for application in agriculture. Similarly, the advanced features of GSM and GPRS also we are following up, and remote maintenance technology also being developed, and remote calibration also. Now, if I just go a little more apart from this weather and climate environment monitoring, because it is the School of Environmental Science who is organizing this one, I thought I'll put up some slides. We have got a very good network for ozone monitoring in terms of total columnar ozone, surface ozone, vertical distribution. I just want to say that the ozone Sunday, the measurement of vertical profile, is developed in-house. So aerosol optical properties, black carbon monitoring, pattern coefficient, distribution chemistry, aerosol chemistry, all these are being taken up, and polar meteorology are being taken up by India Meteorological Department, and it has been a success story, and we are at par with various environmental monitoring centers in the world. So these are some of the photographs, just to have a glimpse about the activity which is taken up by India Meteorological Department with respect to environmental monitoring and research. Data are available. Those who are interested to utilize the data from India Meteorological Department, they are welcome. We also welcome the collaborative work, research and development. Now, coming to the aviation sector is, you can say, it is a developing sector. Every now and then, the number of airports are increasing. So we go on increasing our capacity in terms of technology for specialized aviation observations and aviation forecast. So these are some of the examples of the aviation instruments in the airports. The most important thing is that they introduced by government, that is UDAN scheme. Under UDAN scheme, we have small places like Jagdalpur or Hisar, they have got the airports. And we have also enabled ourselves to have the observations with the latest tools and technologies, and this number is increasing. At present, we have the forecast and warning services for about 80 airports in the country. Similarly, if you just look at the sophisticated instruments taken up for these airports, that will find that it's called automated weather observing systems. It is an integrated system from end-to-end system, which can provide information to our pilots and all the airport agencies and aircraft agencies to be aware before the flight. I just want to mention that no flight can go without weather forecast. It is a mandatory as per requirement of International Civil Aviation Organization. They have to take the briefing about the weather condition and its forecast before the flight. Okay. Similarly, if you just look at small places like Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, or Jammu and Kashmir, or northeastern states, there are areas, remote areas, where you do not have the connectivity, and heliport is the most important use. For example, when you go for in pilgrim places, Vaishno Devi or somewhere, there also you've got the helipads. For these helipads also you provide the forecast, and there also we have made the system automated by providing automated aviation weather observing systems. So this is just another system for again the aviation purpose. These are the certain tools which are indigenously being developed, the wind lidar and cytometer. For this purpose, different development organizations and India Meteorology Department collaborate with each other, and we are hopeful that within a year we will have indigenous lidar and cytometer. Now, satellite is another story, success story. You can find out. We started the satellite technology for weather purpose in 1982, and we have come a long way. Now we have got INSAT 3D, INSAT 3DR, we have got spectrometer-based satellite, and many polar orbiting satellites also. So these are the various types of satellites which have come up, and again, some future satellites which have come up. Indian Space Organizations and Ministry of Earth Sciences work together to adopt this indigenous technology for various applications in weather and climate services. Now, once you've got all these informations are ingested into an array of numerical regression models. You'll be happy to know that Ministry of Earth Sciences India Meteorology Department uses about 7 numerical regression models every day, around twice, which are of very high resolution. It has got high accuracy also. Up to 5 days, performance of model is quite good. And then we provide warning services up to 5 days at present. Worldwide also, the warning is provided up to 5 days. Also, we have got the climate forecast models. We also provide the model forecast of El Nino, La Nina, and Mendelian oscillations. Those are environmental parameters. We also provide the forecast for winter temperature, summer temperature, and monsoon based on the climate forecast systems. Now, if we just look at the various modeling system what we have got the global models with a resolution of about 12 kilometers, we have the regional model with a resolution of about 3 kilometers. We have also the model with a resolution of about 1.5 kilometers for specific purposes like cyclones and fog. And also we have got various dynamical statistical models. And you'll have to know that we also provide forecast for polar regions. So this polar region forecast also provided at par with other countries. So to carry out all this modeling, to carry out all the processing of the data absorbed to various platforms, you need a high power computing system. Gone are those days. If you remember 1999, we have only one model run with a capacity of 2 days, and forecast accuracy is not good. I'm talking about Odisha Super Cyclone 99 when 10,000 people died. But now we have got the computing system that is high power computing system with the capability of 8.6 petaflop. So, and if you compare it, you will find that our rank in high power computing system has moved from 368th position to 30th position in the top 500 list of HPC facility in the world. Now, if you consider the weather only, then you will find that India stands at 4th position after Japan, UK, and USA. That is in terms of dedicated high power computing system for weather and climate community. And also, when you think of, we need also the self-reliance in infrastructure, and another infrastructure is the decision support system. India has got the decision support system infrastructure to take all the observations, compare it, comprehend it, analyze it with all the numerical models to provide the real-time situation, and also to provide the forecast and warnings of the different lead periods. not only the forecast, but also the sectoral applications for various sectors. So these are the few samples from that automated weather systems, which shows the capability to compare the observations and forecast. And thereafter, when you are ready with the forecast, you should also have an infrastructure to disseminate the forecast and warning to the last mile. I'll tell you, over the years, our forecast and warning has improved. If I remember when I was a meteorologist in Bhubaneswar during Odisha super cyclone, if we are sending the information of cyclone, it was being sent through telegram to the district collector. And by the time, if I am issuing a telegram at afternoon, it was reaching in the evening. So by the time cyclone might have reached 200 kilometers or 300 kilometers, so people feel that IMD is telling that cyclone here, but by this time cyclone has gone away. So it is because of the lack of communication. But in recent years, India has improved a lot in terms of ICT. And as a result, within 10 minutes, we get all the observations, and on real time, we provide all information, forecast, and running services to various agencies. For this purpose, we maintain a redundancy. Redundancy because during disaster situations, there can be loss of connectivity in one or two. Therefore, if you have redundancy, you can reach out. But still, there are problems with respect to the fishermen at deep sea or the people in the deep Himalayas or the deserts, where we have got limited communication facilities. So therefore, now ISRO and Ministry of Earth Sciences are coming up together. We have the space-based network that is called the GAMS, Gaggan Messaging System, and NAVIC. So these two, once it is experimental now, it is operated, it will reach out to each and every person anywhere within North Indian Ocean or in the Himalayas. So last picture you can see there is a dedicated website. We've got many dedicated websites for different purposes. Now, considering the social media in recent times, IMD has come up with various social media handles like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, blogs, and WhatsApp, etc. So all these informations are easily available. You can find out a public website. It is recently developed last 1 year, where you can have easy access to the informations which are used by general public. Now, coming to another infrastructure, I was talking about the polar meteorology. So we conduct the Antarctic expedition every year, and we have got very good infrastructure there. Why do we go for polar meteorology? Because the polar meteorology is related to the climatology and weather of the country. And also there are many explorations which is helpful with the help of the information of weather and climate. Now, if you go to another infrastructure, our modeling system should improve gradually, and we are thinking to improve the numerical modeling, going up to 1 kilometer resolution high resolution model and up to 6 kilometer in global modeling systems, so that we can provide the information at village level. The ultimate objective is to reach out each and every village in the country. Now, coming to the demand of the people with respect to the forecast, you'll find that there are various demands. There are many sectors, I was telling you, which is not, you cannot say any sector which is not dependent upon weather and climate. So therefore, number of demand is increasing. Accordingly, we are trying to have the sufficient supply in terms of weather and climate information. Now, this is just an example of how the 15 days forecast is being used by various sectors like energy, water, human health, disaster risk reduction, and agriculture and food security. We started it in 2012. Now we are coming off this information in a sectoral applications so that it can improve the economic conditions in all these sectors. Now, similarly, if you come to agriculture, as Pramodji was telling about agriculture, agriculture is key to our success and economy, because still now also many of the population are dependent upon agriculture. So what we have done actually as an India program, we are going with Gramin Krishi Mosam Seva. So that means village level agromet advisory services. Now this service is improving, and it is completely indigenous, and it is also admired by many people in the world. So in this service, what you find actually, excuse me. Okay. So in
Hello,
this,
sir.
yes, please.
Yes, sir, you can go ahead. You have only 2 minutes to go, sir.
Fine. I'll take maximum 5 minutes.
Okay.
No issues.
So in this agromet forecast, actually what we do actually the public-private partnership. We have got the forecasting agency, we have got the agriculture agency, we have got the universities, we have got the NGOs, and it's a success story. We provide 43 million people the SMS-based agromet services, apart from other services. It has also been highlighted by National Center for Applied Economic Research that how people have gained about there has been significant gap. You can say about by 2015 it was 42,000 crores, and now the estimate says that there is a gain of 50,000 crores because of the improvement in agreement advisory services. Similarly, with the improvement in economy, people are also moving. So tourism forecast has become another potential area. We're also providing forecast for tourism. And there is also forecast for railways, for road lines, etc. This is just an example of that. I'll just skip because of lack of time. We also provide the pilgrimage forecast, the special forecast for mountains. And because the expeditions, because of various security issues, etc., all specific sector-wise information are provided. And power is, as you know, that we are completely dependent upon power. So therefore, there is a need and there is a heavy demand. And based on this demand, we have come up with a collaboration with the power sector. And there is a dedicated website with the POSOCO. And through that, all the distributing companies utilize weather and climate information to maximize the utility and hence to save the power and also to have the profit. Also, we have come up with wind and solar energy forecast by our sister agencies like National Center for Meteorology Forecasting. We provide also direct model output, the many private sectors and public sectors for application in solar energy and wind energy. So by this way, I will say that there has been a significant breakthrough in various types of sectoral applications in many sectors of disaster management and also in development of the systems and infrastructure to make India self-reliant in terms of weather and climate services. But still, there is scope to improve further, even though we are at par with many leading centers. This scope is because there are still certain science gaps. There are certain gaps in terms of the observations and systems, especially over the sea and with respect to the Himalayas. So, however, Minister of Earth Sciences and IMD is continuously upgrading its plan and strategy for all the above. And I am hopeful in recent years, or just like in recent years, we have achieved so much. In future also, will meet the expectation of the people in terms of self-reliant India. Once again, I thank all of you for listening to the talk. If any questions, I'm open to it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your extensive and informative presentation. And many examples you have given throughout the India, and also how IMD is self-reliant in making India self-reliant by their own initiatives. We all know that IMD is playing very important role in early warning and saving life and properties of the people, lakhs of people in India. We are very thankful to the IMD for their services which they are providing to us. Besides that, whatever the example you have given, light detecting system and radios on that, software, software also you have, all the indigenous technologies you are developing for our benefit. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your presentation. Such an informative talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next, now I'll invite Dr. Anand Sharmaji, Additional Director General, Indian Meteorological Department. And he is also an alumni of JNU. He is working on a weather prediction and early warning during extreme weather systems. Please, sir, enrich our knowledge with your experience.
Thank you. So nice of you, Manju. And I'm thankful to SCS and Alumni Association of JNU for giving me the opportunity. Although I am a last-minute entrant, so I don't have a very well-organized PPT to show you all. And it's very difficult to speak, especially after two excellent speakers. Both were very superb and they shared excellent information. But already, as our Director General has already given you an overall view and explained most of the things, I will only talk about those things maybe which I think little bit which may for self-reliant India Meteorological Department has a major role. There is no doubt about it. And India Meteorological Department is, the nodal agency, and we take observation, and observation is the main backbone of weather forecasting and understanding and forecasting, right? So we use traditional instruments as well as we use modern instruments, and with the help of these instruments we try to understand and predict the weather, develop early warning systems, and at the same time we are also getting newer insights about the changing climate. So this is very, very important. And to understand these newer insights, we need technology, newer technologies like artificial intelligence. We still have not started using in India Med Department. I think many of the universities and institutes, they can really get into this kind of things, like and develop new products, and maybe we can use them. All right. What happens in the US, if you see, the universities develop the products. They do the state of the art research, and then the main government uses them. But here, I think that kind of system is about to start. Already, some incubation center has been started. Some institute has already started working on these lines. I think that needs to be strengthened. So as I was mentioning, those traditional instruments, most of the instrument earlier we were manufacturing, and now some of them we are manufacturing, and some of them are being manufactured by the private partners, and we have PPP mode as well. And then automatic weather stations. Now, because with a kind of topographic we have very difficult mountain terrains, we have oceans, so we have to install the automatic weather station where we cannot deploy the manpower. So earlier, all these automatic weather stations we were importing from abroad, but now many private companies are manufacturing them, and even some of the components we are helping them out. The third important component is weather radar. Already, as our Director General has already said earlier, there was a time when we used to purchase radar maybe from US, German, China, even in between, and Japan. But now, the companies in India, especially Bell and one Astra company, they have started manufacturing, and we are installing about 10 this X-band radars in the northwest mountain regions. They are all manufactured by the Astra. But as I was talking to the Astra people, they said, जैसे ह्यूमन बॉडी होती है पूरी, तो गर्दन तक तो हमारा पार्ट है, पर ऊपर जो सिर वाला ऊपर वाला पोर्शन है, that we are not able to do it. What he meant to say was the software component which is being used by the radar, it is all developed by the Germans. So this is again one more area where IITs and other institutes, and we are very good in software. So I don't know, somebody has to start, we can develop that software part as well. So we are making the hardware, but just improving the software. Here, I think some kind of linkage needs to be there. And then we are again we are lucky that we have very good satellite system in India. We are independent there, and these days satellites is really again it's a benefit for the meteorologist. We are getting so much of information from the satellite, be it cloud top temperature, snow cover, or forest fires, or maybe water vapors, even pollutants. So all this information, and this becomes very, very important in the COVID times. What has happened when the COVID came, we realized, some of the places where we had the manual observations, of course, we tried our level best that there is no disruption because staffs were not coming, but still we managed. But then we realized that sensors on board the satellites. So because some of the observations which we get for weather forecast is from the aeroplanes and from the ships, and during this COVID time there was a disruption in the aeroplane, this air services, and a lot of data was missing, and some even ECMW have said they suffered something like 10 to 50% decrease in their accuracy in the forecasting. So that is again one thing people have realized now, that we have to have very robust systems, automatic systems, self-calibrating kind of systems, so that manual interference is minimum. And this is what we have learned from Corona times. And then we have radio sound. Radio sound again, we have to get the surface observations, we put the instrument like thermometer, barometer, psychrometers, wind vanes, anemometer, etc. at the surface. But what about if you want the observation at 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometer, 3.1 kilometer, like this? So we release balloons, and these we launch balloons, and there are two types of balloons. One is simply without instruments, which we monitor it with the help of theodolite, and that gives us only the wind speed and direction. But there's another kind of balloon where we attach all these instruments, and as the balloon goes up through radio signals, we get the temperature, humidity, pressure, all this data at various levels. So all this surface data and upper air data goes into the models. So this balloons, again, there was an issue, either some of the sensors we import, so they are not coming. So we need to indigenize it. We have to, all the companies should come forward and manufacture all these sensors in India, so that we are self-reliant, and even any kind of disruption we should. And another next step is the auto sound. Here we are manually filling the balloon hydrogen gas, then attaching the instrument, releasing it. Of course, then radar takes over and takes all the data. But now we have the machines. Such machines have come where you supply the balloons, gas, everything is in one setup, and you just you program it, and it will release as per your requirements balloons 2 times a day or 4 times a day, depending on your requirements. And then for a month, maybe at 1 month at least, without any manual interference, you keep getting the data. So I think maybe in future we will need that kind of systems also, but then India doesn't have those kind of systems. They are very expensive. But some IITs or some institutes should come forward and do research in this kind of things. Radar, I was telling, there's another issue. We have radars, but we don't have people from the universities who have knowledge about the radars. So I think some of the universities can start some courses, ABTEC in radar, so that students who come out of that, they can join IMD. From the day one, they are experts in the radar. Otherwise, we have to train those people again, and then there are many issues. So I think, again, some of the universities can these kind of courses where people are taught maybe software part, hardware part, and even operational part. So these are some of the things which are very, very important. And then one more important issue is atmospheric research aircraft. As you must have seen in abroad, even they chase the cyclones, and then they have the aircraft which goes into the hurricane or the cyclone, and then it releases a sensor and takes observations. It is very dicey kind of things, but we don't have that kind of setup. But yes, India Ministry of Earth Sciences is planning to buy an aircraft, and soon it will be equipped with all those kind of equipment. And whenever there is extreme cumulonimbus cloud or extreme weather, we that take those kind of valuable information which is otherwise not available. So those information will help us in improving our understanding and then better predictions. So I think with all this, there are a lot of efforts being done at IMD level to understand all these things. And of course, models. Most of the models we use are from the abroad. But again, as our DG was also saying, we had like 12-kilometer models, we had 3-kilometer resolution models, but farmers want forecast at their village level or their field level. So we need to have fine resolution models. So we are working on that. Then mountains, especially, again, it's a very complex topography. Each valley has a different kind of, sort of climate and weather and climate. So to understand that, we need to have mesoscale valley-based models. So a lot of research, again, some of the universities can take this kind of work to develop those kind of models. So, as you all know, that there is hardly any area from aviation to disaster management to pollution to agriculture where weather information is not required. Everyone eagerly waits for that. And as our DG also said, we have come to the expectations. Continuously, we are upgrading our technology, and with that, losses have reduced and crop productivity is increasing. Our Prime Minister also says to increase the income of the farmers. And India Meteorological Department has a specialized agro-meteorological services where weather-based agro-advisories to the farmers are really playing a crucial role. Already 4 crore farmers are benefited by this through our SMS, through web-based services, and through WhatsApp. We are sending this information to them, and they are timely using it. Say, for example, it's going to be heavy rain or there is going to be a freezing temperature. If the farmer sows his seed, it is going to be waste. So we tell them well in advance when to sow, when to harvest, when to apply irrigation, how much to irrigate, when to apply pesticide. All this information is being provided to the farmer. So we are trying our level best to contribute to our economy. We are trying our level best to be self-reliant. So, but yes, as there are lots of gaps, and we need to fill that. I mean, if I summarize, so what we need to do, we need to have better and automated instruments. We need to have self-calibrating instruments so that you need not go and calibrate. Suppose there is COVID time, nobody can go. So, I mean, the system automatically calibrate itself. So automation has to be, self-calibration has to be there, and then more and more space-based sensors. So they are there; they are not affected by the COVID or some other kind of maybe war or something else. And then aircraft, better resolution models, artificial intelligence. So these are some of the issues which I feel needs more strengthening, and I am sure that in coming years we will come to. We will do breakthrough research in these areas, and it will further improve our forecast accuracy and skill, and will definitely contribute for the improvement of our economy and safety of our people. I think, thank you very much. I will keep it at this short, and if there are questions, I'll take up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a nice and explanatory your speech, where you said everything, explained everything, how you are going for EEE, how the institution come forward, how we should develop a new technologies or sensors or use a safe softwares technology so that we'll become a more self-reliant, and how your IMD is doing that. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be the alumni of SES and JNU. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, being here. Thank you, sir.